Hey y'all, it's Missniecytv and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 9, Episode 20. The episode picks up with Danny and Pam at the salon, and Pam is touching up Danny's hair for the event tonight, and Danny is like, at least I look better than what I feel. Pam is like, you should feel like an entrepreneur. I'm so excited about our plan. And Danny's like, we at least have to talk to Karen about it first. Danny tells Pam that she's not going to Karen's party, and Pam is trying to convince Danny to go, so some time passes, and Pam calls Maurice and lets him know that Danny's not going. He kind of talks her into it. Danny eventually agrees to come to the party, but we all know that Danny doesn't really want to be there. Over at Karen's, we see Karen getting ready for a party, and she looks very pretty. So after she's done getting ready, she steps out the room and she talks to Aaron and lets him know everything that Faith needs before she leaves. And as she's talking to him, she sees that his bags are packed, and Aaron's like, where are you going? And Aaron's like, I'm actually leaving earlier than expected. I'm leaving tomorrow. Karen's like, so why didn't you talk to me about it first? Aaron's like, I just want to get settled out there for you and Faith, and then you. Karen's like, well, I'm not leaving without you, so I'm leaving tomorrow too. I wonder how her mom's going to take the fact that she's leaving sooner than her mom expected. Her mom at least thought. We're at Andy's house. We see her getting ready for the party, and her mom comes in the room. She's like, it seems like you have a hot date tonight. Andy's like, no, just a night out with the girls. And her mom is like, it looks like your girls are trying to pop out. Andy's mom starts bringing up to her that she wants her to have a baby and get married because she's not getting older and time waits for no one. And Andy's like, Mom, I told you this before, I'm a career. Andy tells her mom that she doesn't want to have kids, and as soon as Andy says that, her mom goes into some shock, and she drops her cup on the floor like she's about to fall, and Andy catches her. She's like, Mom, what's wrong? And Andy's like, you know what, I'll just say that I can't go to the party and I'll stay here with you. Andy's mom is like, no, go to the party. Andy's like, well, I'll call up Mama so that she can sit over here with you because I don't want to leave you alone. And Andy's mom is like, okay. I think Andy's mom is sick, and that's the real reason she came to visit Andy, to tell her that she's sick. And of course, Andy is now going to be asking lots of questions since that situation happened with her mom. I don't know if it's something to do with her neurologic. I don't know if Andy's mom has something wrong with her brain or her heart, but it's definitely visible that Andy's mom is sick. And of course, Andy's going to have a lot of questions since this situation happened with her, and it's going to eventually come out that her mom is sick. Andy has a lot to deal with right now, and I wonder how she. I just want to mention, after Andy left her mom to go to the party, I realized that Andy didn't call her mom to check on her once. Over at Maurice's, Sabrina makes it there first, and he's complimenting Sabrina, telling her that she really looks nice, and so she's just sitting there talking to Maurice, and Maurice tells her that Danny's not coming, and some time passes, and Maurice leaves so that he can go get a package, and she's just sitting there talking to Dylan. She asked him, tell me about yourself, tell me about Paige, tell me about your family, who you voted for. And Dylan's like, well, I grew up in a small town. My parents are very conservative. Paige is my best friend. She's actually the first person I came out to. Sabrina's like, well, what are your intentions with Maurice? Dylan's like, he likes Maurice. He's handsome, he's fun, he's funny, he's bold. And Sabrina is basically not buying it. So she's like, did Maurice tell you that I've been to jail before? And Sabrina has a nerve to say, I'm not scared to go back. Sabrina, now I understand that you were trying to sit there and intimidate Dylan, but there's no reason to lie to that man. You were absolutely terrified of jail. You wanted to get out as soon as you went in. Over at Zach and Fatima's, we see Fatima getting ready to leave for the party, and she's talking to Zach, and Zach's telling her that she looks good, and she's like, thank you. And then she randomly brings up the fact that she wants to have a cookout because she wants some ribs, and the baby is craving it. They've never used the backyard, so she wants to use it. On Fatima, their backyard looks very tiny, so I wonder how many people they're going to invite to this cookout, because based off the size of the yard, it looks like only 5 people. Back over at Maurice's, we see Sabrina talking to Maurice, and she's basically telling him the whole situation with Damani and how Fatima handled it, and Maurice is like, Fatima's a superhero. And Sabrina's like, I'm really starting to like her. I think she's. Dylan has enough to open his mouth and say, Maurice, do you mind if I put nutmeg on these salmon sandwiches? Maurice is like, nutmeg? You know what you can do? You could take these sandwiches and go on. Then we see Fatima. She finally makes it to Maurice's house. Everybody greets her. She's like, where's Danny? And Maurice tells her that Danny's not coming. She's like, who's gonna tell Karen? And Maurice points to Sabrina. That's when Karen and Andy show up and everybody greets them, and Karen's like, where's Danny? And Sabrina's like, well, she's not coming. She's in one of her moods. Karen is not with Danny not showing up, so she calls her and she's like, Danny, where are you? Danny's like, I'm at work. Maurice is like, you ain't got no job, Tommy. And then Danny's like, well, I really don't want to come. I'll come next time. And Karen's like, there might not be a next time. Danny's like, what you mean? Karen's like, I wanted to tell you all when we were all together, but me and Aaron are moving tomorrow. And everybody's like, what? Karen's like, yeah, he wanted to get the house set up for me and the baby, so. And then Andy's like, I guess we just gotta make the best of tonight then. Danny agrees to come. She eventually shows up. Everybody's greeting her. Maurice basically tells her that she can't wear that to the club, so you got her something to wear. She goes to put that on. They come back out. Everybody tells Danny that she looks nice. They start taking pictures and everything. The pictures turn out really nice, and I'm like, this is really starting to feel like Ebony is leaving the show. And I'm like, oh, if she is leaving the show, this is a nice way to send her off. Before they head out, Andy and Danny get in some type of little argument because Danny wants to stay in pregame some more, and Andy's not feeling that. She's like, we don't have the time to wait on you. Danny's like, I didn't know you were in charge of my schedule. Karen's like, if both of y'all want to argue, both of y'all can go home. I ain't got time for this tonight, and I will not be sitting my last night like this. And Maurice is like, I know that's right. Maurice also tells them after they go to Billy Jake's for a couple drinks and stuff, they're going to the Proud Boys. Over at Billy Jake's, we see Pam and Maurice talking. Pam is asking Maurice about Dylan because Dylan didn't ride with Maurice. He's like, he's doing white people stuff. Then they start talking about, well, we need to get Danny to talk to Karen so that we can work on this salon, right? And Maurice is basically like, well, we gotta hurry up because she's leaving tomorrow. And Pam is like, what? She's leaving tomorrow? Maurice is like, yeah, she told us today. She'll probably tell you soon. Pam is like, why Danny gotta talk to her? Karen's my best friend too. And Maurice is like, yeah, she is, but you were also a terrible supervisor. Pam is like, yeah, I was. Then we see all the girls come in, and Andy and Karen are talking to each other. Andy tells Karen that Dr. Vaughn keeps texting her, but she's ignoring him because she's not really trying to talk to him after she knows what he did, right? Karen tells Andy that she's going to go to the bathroom and pump and dump before she drinks because she's about to explode. And Sabrina's asking Danny if she's okay because she's constantly drinking. Andy and Danny are just standing there not talking to each other, and it's very awkward. I'm like, if y'all just don't squash this beef or just say y'all don't want to be... Then we see Karen in the bathroom. She's pumping and dumping, and Fatima comes in there. She's like, Karen, what are you doing? Your boobs are huge. And Karen's like, well, I'm pumping. Fatima's like, so this is what I gotta look forward to when I have my baby? Karen's like, yeah, but everybody's experience is different. So then Cameron's boobs start exploding, shooting breast milk everywhere. It's kind of funny, but Fatima looks terrible. Over at the bar, we see everybody except for Fatima, Karen, and Andy, right? And everybody's ordering drinks. Sabrina's basically telling Maurice that he needs to drink water tonight. And Maurice is like, thank you for being the elderly sister that I didn't know I needed. That's why I love you. And Sabrina's like, well, I'm only 10 days older than you. Maurice is like, there's somebody in the corner that looks more your speed, and then it's older gentleman. Then he goes to order another drink, right? And her card declines, and then she's like, my whole settlement check is gone. I'm gonna get Tony. I'm like, Danny, why does Tony even have your pink? But I honestly don't think it's Tony. I think it's probably some debts that she had that she forgot to pay off, and now that she has the money, they're taking her money back. This is when the old man walks over and talks to Sabrina. He comes over and talks to Sabrina. He's really starting to get to know her and kind of like her a little bit. Some time passes, they're still talking, they're still drinking, everybody's vibing. Next thing we know, we see his dentures roll out his mouth into a cup. And Sabrina's like, you know what? It's time for me to go. Andy and Karen sit down. Andy's telling Karen that Dr. Vaughn keeps texting her. Karen's like, I'm very grateful for what he did, but I don't understand why he's covering for that man. Andy's basically like, let's change the subject. Karen's like, well, I'm very proud of you. Andy's like, what? What are you saying? Karen's like, I know I haven't said it in a while, but I'm very proud of you. And I'm glad I got to witness everything that you do. You're a partner at the law firm. You're fighting for women. You're doing great things. He's like, you deserve your flowers, and I'm very proud of you, but there is one thing that I need you to do. Andy's like, what is it? she's like, well, I need you to make it right with Danny. Andy's like, you fell for that too. You know, she just acts out to get away. Karen's like, she just needs a little love, and you always know that. Now, I'm not going to say this to say that I'm not proud of Karen, and I'm glad that she's making a change, but I'm also going to keep it real. When did Karen have so much of a change of heart for Danny? Like, when did she start giving grace to Danny? Because clearly I can remember all the times that Karen used to talk down about Danny and call her all types of names and say that she was this and that she was that. And Andy's basically like, I'll see what I can do. And as they're done talking, Andy gets a text and Karen's like, is that Vaughn again? Andy's like, yeah, he's telling me to come outside. So she's like, Andy, I don't think that's a good idea. Andy's like, I got it, don't worry. Danny and Fatima have a conversation. Fatima tells Danny about the whole situation with Karen in the bathroom and the whole breastfeeding. Then they start talking about Andy and the beef that they need to fix. And Danny's like, well, our beef is real. Fatima's like, well, y'all need to fix that because me and Andy fixed our beef. No, the beef was one-sided with Andy. She had beef with herself. She wasn't really beefing with you. Over at a totally different bar, we see Rich and Zach talking, and Rich is basically telling him about Sabrina and how he defended Sabrina against Damani, and she still won't talk to him, and he's been showing up for her. Zach is like, I know a lot of women say they want pressure, but you're being too much pressure. You're being kind of thirsty. He's like, I don't think you should reach out to any females for help, because you're not good with that. He basically says that don't even give her a romantic playlist because that won't work either. Rich is like, how did these old people keep their relationship so strong for all these years? Zach is like, I don't know, but I have a whole head coming and you can ask him. So Mr. Cruz is down. He gives Rich some advice. Rich tells him the whole situation with Sabrina, and he's basically like, did you show her how you feel? Rich is like, well, I think she should know. Mr. Keys is like, that's not going to be enough. You really have to show her how you feel. And you have to be clear about it because women want to be protected, loved, and cared for. Mr. Keys is like, it's really not that hard to be a good man. I'm like, thank you, Mr. Keys. A lot of men don't understand that. But Zach is like, so what did you do to change? Mr. Keys is like, I took accountability. And woo Lord, that's a hard thing for me. But despite all the advice that Mr. Keys gave Rich, I really don't think that Rich and Sabrina need to be together. I think their time has run its course. Over at Billy Jake's, Karen and Danny are sitting down. Karen basically tells Danny that she's proud of her for taking care of her mental health and taking care of herself. And she just needs to promise Karen that she'll continue to take care of herself and work things out with Andy. Danny is like, I'll think about it, and they go hug each other, and Karen's like, what's that smell? And then Danny smells herself, and it's like, it's me. So Danny's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and freshen up. Once Danny comes out the bathroom, she talks to Karen about the whole Roots to Riches thing, and Pam and Maurice are there. Karen's like, I'm not even mad at the idea because I'm not even gonna be here, but the three of y'all going into business is kind of strange. But I guess y'all can have it. So it looks like Maurice, Pam, and Danny are going into business together. It seems like a cute idea. I just wonder how it's going to turn out. Who's going to be funding Danny's part of the business because her settlement check is not there anymore? Outside of Billy Jake's, we see Andy and Dr. Vaughn talking to each other. Andy's like, how did you even know where I was? And Dr. Vaughn is basically like, you posted it on your Instagram. Andy's like, so you think it's okay to pull up on the person that's ignoring you? Dr. Vaughn is like, I just want to know why you're ignoring me. Andy's like, I know what you did and why you're covering for that despicable man. And that's probably why you wanted all the names of those ladies on the case. Dr. Vaughn is like, Andy, you don't understand. Let me explain. Andy's like, there's nothing to explain. I want nothing more to do with you. Then Dr. Vaughn thinks in his mind that it's okay to grab on Andy, which is not. And he's like, if it wasn't for me, your friend wouldn't even be alive. I think this is exactly why Dr. Vaughn didn't want any involvement in the case and try to help Andy with the case, because he had some part to play in it and he didn't want his secrets to come out. So Andy goes back inside and she goes into the bathroom to cool down after the conversation with Dr. Vaughn and everything. And Sabrina walks in there. She tells Sabrina everything that's going on with Dr. Vaughn and how he had an involvement in the case. Then she tells Sabrina that Dr. Vaughn put his hands on her. All he did was grab you, but I understand the sentiment. Then she goes on this train about how she had nothing but bad men and she's tired of it, and she brings up Jordan. And out of nowhere, Penelope pops out the stall and she's like, What do you say about my brother? Penelope, girl, I thought you was gone. I thought you was on that midnight train out of Georgia. You need to be gone somewhere. Now you're back trying to cause problems for everybody else. But it looks like Penelope and Andy are about to fight. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications. Bye.